Good morning. Hello, cat. I just realized I forgot to send people my, I usually send my mom and my sister a text message before. Okay, good. Did you get a notification, Mom, or did you just see it? Hello. Good morning. Ooh, my nose is running. I'm so sorry. Today is Course in Miracles Day. It's a little less cold. Catherine, did your notices go off? Because I obviously forgot to send you a text. So the big girls and the little girls are coming up today to have our postponed Thanksgiving dinner. No, I just started. I literally just started. So my name is Michelle Wolf. I'm at caddyshackdesigns.com. And across the top of that website, you can find everything that I do. Hi, Linda. And I don't have a card with me, so Caddy with T's instead of D's. Good morning for orange juice. Oh yeah. So the big girls and the little girls are coming up, and we're taking family photos down by this old broken down house with a fireplace, and it was probably built in maybe the early 1900s, but it's abandoned, and we have permission to go down there and take pictures. Hi, Tanya. And the girls right now are dressed in pink camouflage pants and wife beater shirts. Morgan wants a couple of pictures in that. Hi. And then they have their fancy dresses. Oh, no. Yuck. I don't really like wearing makeup anymore. I had to wear it for so many years, and I had to dress up for so many years. Yeah, pink cuteness. That now I'm kind of like, I like it sometimes, but I don't like a lot of it. Pink camo pants and wife beater shirts. And then, so we'll get a couple of those, and then we'll get their navy. They have some navy lace dresses with black tights to wear. Then we'll get pictures. Oh, I'm not taking pictures. I'm the photographer. Don't be ridiculous. I'm not getting in front of that camera. That's everyone else's problem. I get to take the pictures. But yeah, you're right. If I was going to be in front of the camera, then I would let her do my makeup. I'm sure she'll get some random shots while they're here today. But today is Course in Miracles Day. Yeah. First, I need to... No, oh God. First, I need her to fix my hair. My hair needs a haircut really bad. I'm tired of it being in a ponytail all the time. Course in Miracles Day. Followed by Part 2, which is Law of Divine Compensation after that. Interestingly enough, our reading today has to do with sacrifice and getting rid of that concept. Because there is no reward for sacrifice. If you feel like you're giving to the point of depletion and you think it's a worthwhile sacrifice to make, it's not. If you're giving to the point of completion, you are way off track. So it's lesson 343 in the workbook, part 2 of the workbook for people who are following along. Oh boy. It's usually codependent behavior if you're giving to the point of depletion. Hello, Roseanne, you're just in time. Oh boy. Gosh. Misplaced responsibility is a tough one. Hello. Okay. And again, I'm sorry for the sniffles. I have the sniffles, Linda, because of the dairy products. So if you can even get your son to give up dairy products, yeah, closer than yesterday. If people are getting sick around you guys, or he starts to look like he might be getting sick, if you can end the dairy products right then, you can usually avoid some of that rougher stuff with his lungs. Or it works for me anyway. Okay. Lesson 343. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and peace of God. Driving yourself into the ground, sacrificing for others, will not find you the mercy and peace of God. It actually takes you further and further away from it. Thanks for the shares and the hearts. The end of suffering cannot be loss. And you created me to be like you. So sacrifice becomes impossible for me as well as you. I too must give. And so all things are given unto me forever and forever. As I was created, I remain. Your son can make no sacrifice, for he must be complete, having the function of completing you. I am complete because I am your son. We're already complete because we are the children of Source, the children of God. I cannot lose, for I can only give, and everything is mine eternally. The second verse is, the mercy and the peace of God are free. Salvation has no cost. It is a gift that must be freely given and received, and it is this that we would learn today. I cannot lose, for I can only give, and everything is mine eternally. And the giving that they're talking about there is not the giving to the point of completion. It's that when you're connected and you're choosing love all the time and you have all that energy, you're naturally giving that out to the world. And you can never lose it because it's always coming in and out. It's coming in through, you know, I don't know if this is how it actually happens, but we tend to say it's coming in through our heads and out through our hands and our heart. And those are pretty universal images of energy coming in and then out. Marianne Williamson said on her talk on Monday, and I didn't watch all of it, but that the intersection of the cross and the intersection of the Star of David is symbolic of that energy coming in through, that God is vertical and we're horizontal, and that energy comes in through us and then goes out through our arms and hands to the world, and the intersection point is our heart. I hadn't heard that before. It's kind of interesting though. It's an interesting concept. Has anybody else heard that before? That the intersection of the cross and the intersection of the Star of David is representative of us? Of our, how God comes into us and then out of us? I hadn't heard that, but I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's an interesting way. It's an interesting way to think of it. I had never thought of that. Okay. Yeah, it's a cool idea. I like it. I don't know, maybe. I haven't read the book cover to cover. You've seen it in illustrations. Oh, that's cool. I like the concept. So, you can only give that. That is your purest giving. And by giving that is how you uplift others naturally without even doing anything and without taking responsibility for their lives, or putting yourself in a position of fixing anything or anyone. You radiate, is you just broadcast it. You can't help but broadcast it when you're full of love. Hi, Nina. You fill yourself up with that connection and that love, and it just comes off of you. Just the same as happiness comes off of you. Just the same as anger. Good morning. And, we impact others with our emotions when we don't have to do anything in particular. So the best thing we can do is get that connection and give salvation to ourselves. And then just naturally, we're providing others with the opportunity to be a part of that energy as well. And you'll find, and I've said this before, I don't know if you guys have experimented with it, you'll find when you're radiating that, some people will come closer to you and some people will move away. Go to a crowded area and get that going, get your Reiki energy going, get that connection going, and watch how people edge nearer you, and some people will edge farther away. So the people who resonate with it or want to resonate with it, want to come up to that, will kind of inch over to be near you. They won't even realize they're doing it. It's cheap entertainment. Happens all the time. It's kind of fun in a sociological observer kind of way. It's kind of fun. And that's all free. You're not required to sacrifice for it. You're not required. Babies love it. Animals love it. That's how I know my husband is radiating something, because animals and children are magnetized to him. They just flock to him, even to the point sometimes he gets irritated. Like, get this dog off of me. Yeah, we're loaded with animals, and he really keeps talking about taking that cat from the neighbor. Animals and children always know. Yes, they do. He's got something going on. Although I was annoyed that he hung the cat shelves without me. But they're up. There's a little video on Facebook and Instagram of our bedroom that we added a lot. We added 4 more shelves to the wall. So there's 5 shelves, and there's cat furniture behind me. So the angle of the video that you see is the shelves all around the room, but behind me is another cat stand. And the tension in the room has already gone down because everybody's got their own shelf now and nobody has to fight for territory. Yeah, it's up. I wanted to do before and after and progress scope it and stuff, but in the middle of the night, Heath woke up and just did it. I was sleeping on the couch, so I wasn't there to say, stop, I'm supposed to be taking pictures and scoping and stuff. And they're supposed to be at different heights. So, I'm happy that they're up, though. Salvation has no cost, peoples. If you are caught up in a pattern of sacrifice and giving, and then what happens? Resentment. And resentment's no good for anybody. Yeah, just go down to Home Depot or Lowe's or IKEA or wherever cheap furniture is. Buy a set of shelf brackets. Buy some shelves. They're easy to put up. Or go buy a cat stand off Amazon or something and just put her food and water up on a shelf. Look at my video, Linda. It'll probably give you some ideas. But all the white shelves and brackets in the room cost the shelves and the brackets plus a glue gun, a heavy duty glue gun, excuse me, was $78 at Lowe's. You can go to IKEA, but you've got to get wide shelves. Don't buy the narrow shelves because cats just fall off of them and they won't use them because they like to lay on them. So get the 12-inch wide shelves, or 10-inch is the smallest that I would get. Chapter 3, making love the bottom line. Love is the bottom line. To want love or to believe in the power of love, all that's wonderful. But where the rubber meets the spiritual road is at the place where we decide whether or not to act on love. That's what we're all doing, and that's why our lives are in turmoil, or were in turmoil. When we choose to act on the stuff that we know, things get shaky for a while. Things can get explosive looking for a while. But when they settle back down, they settle down into totally new and better. One place where putting love first is not always easy is in the area of money. This isn't because the issue is more complicated, it's just the entrenched thinking of the world is that profit, not love, is the bottom line. In a world dominated by scarcity, it sounds like a movie line, right? In a world dominated by scarcity. That thought makes sense. In a world where scarcity doesn't even exist, it makes no sense at all. Putting love first in a world dominated by love. I can only talk that low because I still have that chest thing going on. I should get some voiceover jobs. Putting love first isn't a life of sacrifice, as many have been taught. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Putting love first means knowing who you are and that you're entitled to miracles. We don't get that. We think I think a lot of us still approach this miracle concept in a attitude of asking for and hoping we'll get one, or begging God to give us one. You're entitled to it. You don't have to beg for it. You claim it. I need a miracle now, which means I need to shift my perception now, and I'm going to sit here, I'm going to deep breathe, and it's going to happen for me. And it will. It always will. You're entitled to miracles. Putting love first means knowing that the universe supports you in creating the good, the holy, and the beautiful. It means knowing that you're on the earth for a purpose, and that the purpose itself will create opportunities for its accomplishment. Putting love first means knowing that the universe supports you. Okay, she just got that in bigger print, so let me put that there in case you want to screenshot it. With the sniffly nose. Making love your bottom line doesn't make you lose. It's ultimately the way you inevitably gain. It's so ironic and paradoxical. We have to let go to get. We have to love harder, not work harder to fill the coffers, to bump up the bank account. We have to love more, not give more. Not give more in the real world sense where you go out and work yourself to death. That's not what they're talking about. For what you give, you shall receive, and what you withhold will be. Love harder, not work harder. Make love, not war. Make love, not peace. Make love, not war. Love harder, not work harder. Oh my gosh, you guys. If we put all the effort into just practicing our ability to love and strengthening our skills in loving more, as we put into worrying about everything under the sun and trying to scheme ways and trying to think of business ideas or whatever it is we do to ourselves, if we shifted all that energy into just practicing our skill set for love, can you imagine? Our lives would be different quick. And somebody on the Desire Map alumni call last night said that before she took the workshop, she was stuck, and then taking the workshop, she was suddenly unstuck, and things started to fall into place so rapidly, it kind of freaked her out. And she stopped, slowed down. And that's true. This stuff works quick. When you choose love and you choose alignment, the world starts to work really quick. It's not magic. It's just coming into line with quantum physics. It's not really a mystery. It's a law. It's rules like anything else. The snowball effect. Yeah. Catherine and I were talking a bit last night after the call that we've started this snowball rolling and there's no stopping it. Where in the past we could sort of check out, slow down the process. It's reached too much momentum and you can't really take a day off now. You're going to get triggered and have to go through stuff all day long. Until you get it that your focus needs to be on love and nothing else. And as long as your focus is on other things, they will disappear or be tossed in the air. The cartoon where everything's being rolled up on a giant snowball, right? That's exactly how it feels. It's kind of good though. The giant snowball's rolling through your life, gathering up everything that no longer serves you and carrying it to the bottom of the hill. Yeah, and you need to dance on top of the snowball. The universe keeps a perfect set of books. Making love the bottom line doesn't mean you have to give everything away or that you'll never charge for your services. The principle of fair exchange gives love to both giver and receiver. A lot of people mistakenly think they need to give their services away if they're spiritual, and then they end up in deep poverty. That's not loving. That's artificial sacrifice. That's the kind of sacrifice that is not required. You're giving of yourself and your energy and your learning and your time, and it is fair to be compensated for that. Making love the bottom line doesn't mean you're compelled to do anything anyone ever asks you to do. There's still boundaries. Love always gives the loving response. This is key. But sometimes the loving response is no. No, I will not sacrifice myself for you. No, I will not take it in the shorts. No, I will not provide services to you without compensation. I write in my journal that I want my life to be compensated service. I want to be of service and compensated. I want both. And that's fair. Love always gives the loving response, but sometimes the loving response is no. We've talked about that, how there's a difference in saying no in a hateful or fearful way than there is in a respectful of yourself way. And when you have to say no to someone who is like pleading for your energy, but you know that you have to say no to them, you're just giving them the opportunity to find that energy within themselves or find someone else to take care of them. People will always find someone else to take care of them. I used to let my dad's side of the family run me ragged. Oh my gosh, always something. Can I get a ride? Can I get some money? Can I get this? Can I get that? They were exhausting me, and I was a kid. Like 17, 18, 19, around in there. They just ran me in circles. And when I finally learned that I had to stop doing that, amazingly enough, they found other people to run around in circles. And that's happened over and over again in my life. When I have to say no to somebody, they just move on to somebody else, or they become more self-sufficient on their own. Making love the bottom line does mean that we take seriously the idea that we are on earth to do as love would have us do, and to do with our resources only what we are internally guided to do. The tricky part is getting so in touch with that internal guidance that you feel the clear impulse of what to do. I know from personal experience that when I've done this, I've gained financially as well as in other ways. And when I have not done this, I've lost. The path of love might not lead to an immediate short-term bundle of cash. But following the path of love, well, that's disappointing. Might not lead to an immediate short-term bundle of cash, but you know what? It often does. It often does. If I can get myself lined up, sometimes within hours, usually within days, something will break loose. Following the path of love leads to trust, deeper relationships, and therefore to a greater probability of further good. Our internal abundance is ultimately the source of our external abundance. Our internal abundance becomes our external abundance. Who we are, not the services we provide, creates the money. So scrambling around trying to find the perfect service to provide, scrambling around looking for gaps in the market, and that works for some people, but it doesn't work for people like us who are more intuitive and empathic and sensitive. And those things actually don't work, because the point is to get more in touch with your sensitivity, more in touch with your intuition and your empathy, and then let yourself be led there. So the traditional marketing stuff that works for a lot of people does not work for us. I rewrote my Desire Map Intensive page last night, and it came to me that I really need to emphasize that when you do traditional marketing and you do webinars and you do all that sales funnel stuff and it doesn't work for you, you can I have started in the past to feel defective. Like, I'm doing everything they're telling me to do. I'm doing this like word for word, and it's just blowing up in my face. And it blew up in my face several times, and I've lost a lot of mine and my mom's money on different projects because traditional methods don't work for everybody. They just don't. Because you're here to express more love. You're here to express more spirit. That's not found in those traditional ways. People who are positive and energetic when they show up for work, are they or are they not the people most likely to be promoted? People who are kind and helpful when you walk into their store, do they or do they not have a business to which you're more likely to return? I know I'll go out of my way to support a small business owner, especially if they're really nice to me. when I go in their store. I can get salt lamps cheaper off Amazon, but the salt lamp store in LJ is one of 5 owned by a woman. And so I'm going to go pay $10 extra or $15 extra to buy from her because I appreciate the service I got, and I appreciate that I'm supporting a person who lives in my own state. People who inspire genuine trust and faith in the excellence of their work, are they or are they not the people you are more likely to hire? So who you are in the world increases your opportunities. Money can show up unexpectedly, but often it's just you're increasing your own business by being more of who you are, more of love. You know that line about how nice guys finish last? It's a lie. Supporting local businesses, I really like that. Although I am a die-hard Starbucks fan, Starbucks started out as a local business. And they are franchises, so I'm rationalizing. Whatever. I like Starbucks. At times we fear that if we give ourselves to love, I actually like Caribou better, but we don't have any Caribou coffees here. We fear that if we give ourselves to love, we will somehow devolve into a puddle of weakness. That love will make us vulnerable to hurt or make us less effective. We think it's okay for God to have our spiritual lives, but we better not hand him our finances. So God can have our heart, but not our checkbook, is what she's saying. We don't want to give that to God because he might mess it up. She might mess it up. When really, we're the ones messing it up. Caribou's the best. Caribou coffee's the best. If you guys haven't had a Caribou from a Caribou store, it's delicious. But they're not, you can't find them everywhere. A woman once told me, I don't mind giving God my money, but if it's over $200,000, I think I better handle it myself. And here's what makes that such a joke. It's often in the area of our finances we need miracles the most, right? Love is our sanity. It doesn't lead us to unwise behavior. It doesn't lead us to give our money away frivolously when there is a need to save it and provide for our family. It doesn't lead us to disrespect principles of money management or appropriate laws of commerce. It does not lead us into unreasonable or immoderate behavior. Love doesn't ruin things. Love makes all things right. By aligning mortal events with the natural patterns of an intentional and creative universe. Those natural energetic patterns are there all the time. We're just going with them, or we're turned around fighting against them. And you know the difference by how you feel. Love makes us wake up in the morning with a sense of purpose and a flow of creative ideas. Sometimes where we're cutting ourselves off at the knees is we wake up with a creative idea and we get excited about it, and then our next thought is we go to Google and we see who else is doing it, and then we're like, I can't do it. There's so many other people doing it. Their website's better than mine. They probably know more than me, so we have a great idea and we could act on it, but then we fall into comparison and we lose it. Oh, no. Yeah, don't do that. You guys know from your experience with me, since there's not enough pie to go around. There just isn't. If you get a piece of the pie, I'm not going to get a piece of the pie. So I'm going to fight you over that cherry pie. Ridiculous. So, you guys know so I've been doing this since the very end of August. August 29th is when we started doing this daily thing. How many books have we talked about? How many, day after day after day? Banana pie! Right, banana pie. I get on here and I say the same things over and over in different ways. We're using different books and they all say the same thing. So if you have an idea and 100 other people have written about it, they haven't written about it in your way. Yeah, they're all amazing, but they're all the same. So as people, we're all amazing and we're all the same and we're different. So your spin on divinely inspired jewelry is different than Sarah's, is different than lens is different than other people out there doing it. There's so many types of vanilla. There's French vanilla, there's plain vanilla, there's vanilla bean, there's vanilla caramel, there's... So when you wake up or you get a flash of an inspired, yeah. And we still want to read even more about the same damn topic, right? We can't get enough. We can't get enough of this stuff. Divinely inspired. Double vanilla. Oh my gosh, where did you get that? I love a good vanilla ice cream. Which is just what my snotty nose needs, is some more dairy products. It was the shit. Double vanilla is the shit. Okay. So when you have that idea, don't let Google be the first place you go with it. Just develop your idea. People are on Periscope all day long talking about this same subjects that we talk about. And we watch different people and it's all the same message. It's just nice to have variety. So get your own brand of variety out there. If you woke up, what she's saying is, if you woke up with that idea, yeah, they'll be there. And the ones that don't will go elsewhere. We have people that pop in here, stay for a few minutes, and skedaddle pretty quickly, and they don't come back. Because they don't resonate with me, or they don't, they're not getting what they need here, so they go and find somebody else, and that's perfectly fine. That's how it's supposed to be. She's saying if you get that creative impulse, you got it for a reason. Clueless. You have the capacity to put that idea into action. Otherwise, you wouldn't have got that idea. You wouldn't have had the idea to make spirit-led jewelry if you didn't also have the ability to do it. Love floods our nervous system with positive energy, making us more attractive to prospective employers, clients, and creative partners. Love fills us with a powerful charisma, enabling us to produce new ideas and new projects, even within circumstances that seem to be limited. You can start an Etsy shop for literally 20 cents. One listing is 20 cents, and you can post up to 5 photographs of your product or service. So for $1, you can start an Etsy shop. And you still have to do all the work of advertising and getting the word out there, but you literally can open an Etsy shop with 20 cents. Love leads us to atone for our errors and clean up the mess when we've made mistakes. Love leads us to act with impeccability, integrity, and excellence. I'm always going to act with integrity if I feel like I have enough. It depends on doTERRA's policies. We can't, with Young Living, we can't sell them through a third party. We used to be able to sell them as, like I used to sell a spa kit. So it was a package of Epsom salts and a package of oils. So, because you could sell the oils as a product to make other products with, but I don't know if we can still do that. Young Living changed their policies, so you'd have to check with doTERRA and see what their policies are about. I mean, people are still doing it, but if Young Living catches you at it, you won't be allowed to be a distributor anymore. So if and let me know what they say. I can't remember if we can do it with Young Living, still selling it as a product to make another product with. Love leads. Oh, I'm always going to act in integrity if I feel like I have enough. Like, you're not ever going to be led to be greedy or take things that don't belong to you or be competitive with people you don't need to be competitive with if you feel like there's enough banana pie for you. Why would you? It's just like you wouldn't keep, well, that's not true. I was going to say, you wouldn't keep eating after you were full, but I do that. Not daily, but I used to do it daily. But energetically, if I'm completely satisfied and I know that all my needs are met and I know that they're going to be met, yeah, then you don't worry about what other people are doing. You don't worry that there's 10 other people. I mean, there's zillions of coaches. There's zillions of therapists. But when I was in private therapy, over time I had plenty of private clients. I had as many as I wanted, which was more than enough because I didn't really like doing therapy. Yeah, that's not a good example. I overeat all the time. Obviously. Aware of my addiction. Love leads us to serve, to forgive, and to hope. Those things are the opposite of poverty consciousness. They're the stuff of spiritual wealth creation. You get that? Serve, forgive, and hope are the stuff of spiritual wealth creation. We're almost done with this chapter, and then I'll stop because I've got to do some more. Did you know that you can't baby-proof a tiny home? Unless you put everything in a box? But I do need to do some more baby-proofing before they get here. Also, I have to bake a cake. In 1992, I published a book called A Return to Love. At the time, I was a bit naive. I'd never spent time thinking about things like book contracts, bestseller status, or book royalties. I was just happy to live off the suggested donations at my lectures on A Course in Miracles. While writing a book, I don't think I even thought about how well it might sell. And Return to Love is her classic. It sells all the time still. 1992. I bought it when it first came out. I didn't read it or follow it. I mean, I read it, but I didn't really read it. But I bought it. Well, she was on Oprah. You had to buy the stuff Oprah told you to buy. I do remember hoping it would sell enough copies I wouldn't be embarrassed. In fact, due largely to the enthusiasm of Oprah Winfrey, it was the 5th best-selling book in America that year. I had a strong sense at the time that the money hadn't really come directly from the book, that it had come through it, but not really from it. I felt as if the money was divine payment for something more than the book, particularly the charitable work I had been doing for years before for no money at all. It was payment for how I had been trying to live my life, cleaning up my messes from the past and trying to be of service to others. The seeker isn't looking to get money, that's the difference, but to exchange energy. I am, until recently, very guilty of basing my ideas on whether or not I thought that they would get me money, an income, that they would create an income for me, that they could be leveraged as a source of financial support. And if I thought they couldn't, I just discarded them, or I didn't put much energy into them. That's a terrible way. Obviously, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. What do you need, buddy? The seeker isn't looking to get money, but to exchange energy. Is the energy of the payment you're asking for your services comparable to the service you're providing? So you want to match the dollar amount with the energy, and you'll usually be guided to that. The energy, the amount of energy you're putting out. Is the compensation comparable? If that makes sense. When the energy we're putting out is filled with the consciousness of love, then the energy flowing back to us comes in whatever form most serves our good. Love is content, not form. I figured that if I lived a good life and worked hard, I'd be taken care of somehow. It's a little naive. Sometimes you can be doing good things and things still don't work because you're working through something, or your idea of good isn't the same as your idea of alignment. Sometimes if we think being good is sacrificing ourselves to death, then we think, well, I'm living a good life and my life is shit. But we're not understanding that how we've defined good is wrong. Wrong. A lot of people do that, right? They get really bound up in, I have to go to college and I have to get a job as a lawyer because that's what good people do and I'm a good person, and and they're miserable. Absolutely miserable. And they can't understand it because they think, but I'm being good. So why isn't my life working? I'm a good person. But they're so out of alignment. They're not expressing what their soul wants them to express. So be careful how you think about the term good. There was a level of naivete to the life I was living before that book was published. I had never transitioned to the more sophisticated principles by which wealth is supposedly created, and as a consequence, I was blessedly unaware of them. There's no way in the world that my activities during those years would have been thought to be good for business, because there was no business. But I was, in my own way, about my father's business. And then when the book was published, I saw that what I had done for love came back to me 1,000-fold and more, such is the law. She didn't write that book thinking about, oh my God, I hope this is a bestseller. Or, oh my God, I hope this gets on Oprah. She just wrote it because she had to write it. It was her expression of love in the world, was that book. So it was done totally in connection with her heart and soul. And it paid off as a side effect. And not a random side effect. It's the law side effect. When you're in tune with your soul and your heart and source, money happens as a side effect. If you plant a seed in the ground and water it, it will grow. If you plant your love in the world, it will grow. It just happens. Yes, when I read it, it started a process which is still happening. I didn't really understand what I was reading back then. In 1992, Morgan would have been 6. So was I in college then? I think I was still no. I think I was right around when I was an undergraduate. I didn't know what I was reading. I had no idea. But I read it anyway. I actually read it several times over the course of the years. It took a while for it to click. So. 03. No, 88. 4. So I was in college, yeah. Yeah, A Return to Love is a book that is still to this day an incredible book. It's completely written, divinely inspired, and you can tell. And it's excellent. I would hope that everyone in the world would read that book someday. Probably close to everyone in the world has read that book, or at least heard of it. It's a classic in the spiritual world. It's a beautiful book. I like all of her books, but that book in particular. She has another book of prayers called Illuminata. I like that book too. She has another book called Everyday Grace. That's a nice one. But the thing with her is she waits for the divine inspiration before writing. She doesn't force it. She's not looking to her books as a source of income and not thinking in those terms. That can really trip us up. And it's very hard to stop thinking in that way. If you think I need X number of clients to pay X number of bills, then I better get out there and I better hustle up some clients. You won't find clients. Or if you find them, they'll be the kind that don't work well with you or cause you problems or take up your time and then don't want to compensate you. The worst portrait art clients are the ones who have a gift certificate from someone else. Or, I used to do this a lot. I used to donate gift certificates to pet rescues and let them auction them off. So it'd be $150 or $200 value gift certificate in which a person would have paid like $40 for, $50. And those were the worst people to deal with. They would send me impossible photos and just grainy cell phone photos. And I'm like, I can do this for you, but it will have no detail because I literally can't see it. And at that point, I really had to see it. Now I can kind of fill in. I know the shape of animals' faces enough. I can fill it in a little bit. But I don't like doing that. It's really difficult. It's really exhausting to me. So the people who pay the full price for a portrait, which is about in the mid-range, want their money's worth. So they're willing to dig through their pile of photos and find one that's actually workable. And they don't complain a lot. So It's all about focus and energy and stuff. But, do you have any questions? I probably need to wrap up here in a few. First of all, it's cold out here, and it's colder than I thought. And I got to pick up more stuff that the babies could eat. It's been so long since I've been around little children that I'm not seeing the house in little children baby-proofing way. I had a huge stack of Young Living oil bottles down, which I will let them play with sometimes, but I don't want them getting a hold of a bottle of cinnamon oil or something, because that's going to burn them if they stick it in their mouth. And I just hadn't even noticed that that was a toddler hazard till this morning, and I was like, oh, God, I got to move all that stuff. And to put the cats away. That's a good idea. Crawl around on the floor. Take a look. You try to get back into toddler mind frame. The cats are terrified of the twins, so I have to put them away. Juna is, the little feral guy, is particularly terrified. They're tall. They're 32 inches and 33 inches tall. They just went to the doctor. They're really tall. Avery's 32 and Ashlyn's 33 inches tall. So then you add their little chubby arms on top of that, and they can actually reach quite a bit of stuff. And Avery is, when she's heading for something and she knows she's not supposed to be heading for it, and you say, Avery, and you give her the mom stink eye, she laughs and keeps on going, and she tries to beat you there first. And she will. She'll get there first. She loves Morgan's bookshelf. She's definitely going to be a reader, I think. She loves books. So she looks back over her shoulder and is creeping toward it, knowing she's not supposed to. And then you're like, Avery, pew, off she goes. And she will run her little toddler butt over there and start, it's a race. And she will grab onto the books and start pulling before you can get to her. And she laughs. I was like, this is not good. That child is not scared of us at all. The old mom stink eye doesn't mean a thing to her. She's like, oh yeah? Oh, well, I can beat you there. So I'm going to get to touch me some books before you catch me. She knows nothing bad's going to happen to her. It's probably the problem. She's not scared of us. We don't have a bluff in on that kid. Ashlyn, if you tell her no, she stops. She's not the racer kind. So, I'm going to go, and tomorrow is Thursday, so I'll be down with the babies. And tomorrow is a Dowdy Jean Byron Katie Day. So if you have any questions, you can email me, get me on Facebook. I probably won't be on there much today. Till tonight, if even tonight, but I'll try and catch up tomorrow. And you're welcome. Thanks for coming. Have a wonderful day. If you're watching the replay, thanks for sticking around. And if you're on the web, hello, goodbye. Thanks for being here. You're welcome. Have a great day. Much love to you.